Today we are going to be assessing the camera of the Redmi Note 5 Pro with the help of samples I've clicked from the past few days. The Note 5 Pro has a dual camera setup with the following specifications which are on the screen. Sadly, none of the cameras are optically stabilized and this could be bad news for extreme low light scenarios and shaky hands. The PDAF autofocus system of the Note 5 Pro is definitely not the fastest I've seen at this price point, but it should do the trick for most of your photos. The rear camera of the Note 5 Pro takes colorful, detail-packed pictures in good lighting conditions on most occasions. The shutter is adequately fast for most point-and-shoot objects, but it's definitely not the fastest in class. I was unable to capture a sharp shot of moving objects like the photo of this cyclist going at about merely a 9 to 10 km per hour. Even the little boy who's climbing the mountain came out shaky. The Note 5 Pro produces slightly cooler tones for most of the objects, but the HDR mode adds life back to the shots. HDR is off by default and it does a good job on most of the occasions by recovering lost details from the shadows. The 12 megapixel primary camera does not have a wide aperture and so does not have a hugely pronounced natural bokeh like my Galaxy S7, but the optical blurring gets done just right. Color accuracy is fine in good lighting, but colors might come off cooler than they actually are. Using the manual mode lets you change the white balance and the ISO, and that helps get better shots, but that's just about it. The rear camera now takes portraits and this mode is very good. It's probably one of the best features of the Note 5 Pro's camera. The portraits are processed really fast and edge detection has been fabulous on most occasions. The mode managed to click a fantastic portrait of even this moving dog. The portrait mode also works well on objects. A place where the mode struggles to compose a good shot is with a very lit background like you can see in this picture. The mode also does well in low lighting conditions, but the edge detection and subject focusing struggled in that condition. Moving on to low lighting conditions, I think the results are decent and this could be thanks to a large 1.25 micrometer sensor, but I think having an f2.2 main aperture limits the low light potential of the Note 5 Pro. Lack of OIS means you have to keep a very steady hand, and since this is a big phone, you definitely need two stable hands to get a shake-free and acceptable shot. The phone cannot handle extreme low lighting conditions at all, and most shots came out shaky and out of focus. I spent an entire college cultural night clicking both selfies and rear portraits using the Note 5 Pro, and the selfies did not disappoint a lot, but the rear camera just felt average. Especially after looking at the shots my friends with the OnePlus 5T were clicking. Focusing speeds are slow and the shutter takes considerable time to click pictures in low light. The rear flash is just about average and improved lightings occasionally. The UI also heavily lags in stressful times like this and Xiaomi needs to fix this. I'm really happy with the selfies I've clicked so far using the 20 megapixel front facing camera which also has a flash, but I didn't really need to use it. A cherry on the top is a software implemented depth mode like the Pixel 2 which works really well on most occasions. The front depth mode falters when you have a very bright background behind you and the edge detection starts failing, but nevertheless I truly admire Xiaomi's efforts. Moving on to video, the rear camera currently records a max of 1080p at 30 fps and includes EIS. Video stabilization test of the Redmi Note 5 Pro. I'm walking on slightly unleveled surfaces. And let's see how the claimed electronic image stabilization works. But the video I see on screen right now is pretty shaky compared to the optical image stabilization I'm used to from the Galaxy S7. This is a nighttime video from the Redmi Note 5 Pro and this is in the auto mode and the voice is being recorded from the rear microphone, rear camera and the microphone setup. This video should give you an idea of how stable the rear camera is and what kind of videos you can expect in low light. Here's a video sample from the front-facing camera and I doubt this has electronic image stabilization, but let's have a look at how the video looks like. So video quality wise, the Note 5 Pro is pretty well exposed and the EIS is fabulous. However, I'm not a fan of the flickering at the borders and the creeping wind noise. I'm expecting Xiaomi to release a formal update including 4K support soon. The front-facing camera also shoots a max of 1080p video at 30 frames per second but the result is a very shaky video as there is no OIS or EIS. So if you plan on using the Note 5 Pro for vlogging, stick to the rear camera. The other video modes are a slow motion and a time-lapse mode, and here is a slow-mo sample. So overall, the camera on the Redmi Note 5 Pro is pretty good, and it sure has its share of cons, but at a price of Rs 14,000, it's probably one of the best cameras out there. I'm waiting to see what the Moto G6 will offer in the camera department. The full review will be out shortly, so do subscribe to see it when it comes.